All right, Dow Jones. As you can see, Dow Jones is still on a downtrend. So in the moment we're at close to previous resistance. So we kind of bouncing on the same level as previously. So it's still a bit lower than the previous highs here. Okay, so that's why we might see the pullback. Okay, like it's personally, I might see it. Just a second, I'll do this. Okay. So again, a lot of factors can influence that. One of them is a political situation with China. So if some kind of issues can arise from the previous conflict, which was the last week, and also we see this is a fundamental factor. Now, if we look at other factors which may influence, the earnings season is already like nearly past. There are a few companies left to announce their result, but majority of companies, they already announced their results, and the results were pretty good. So that's why the market during the last month, it's actually went up, not down. There were a few companies which reported earnings on a badly level, but in general, earnings were pretty good. Now, so at the moment, there would be pretty quiet season unless we've got some additional news. Personally, I believe we might go sideways, or we might start to recover even more. All right, and as you can see, but before that, we definitely are going to have some kind of pullback. So quite easily to expect somewhere to previous levels. So it could be 32,000 or about 31,500, somewhere here on those levels. Okay. Now we might bounce a few times on those levels where we are right now. As we can see already, we've done a couple of rolls, like tiny rolls here, maybe 3% each. And so similar to what we had here. And then already we decide we break through and go higher, or we go down, all right, to previous supports. So we can see that currently the indicators are in overbought situation. So definitely we might see some pullback here. So this is very likely situation. Now, if we go for Standard & Poor, similar situation to previous index, and this support is pretty strong as well. This level is pretty strong. Previously, this is one time it's touched it here, 1 second, third, fourth, here a few times, and then it becomes a resistance level, and now again it's a resistance level. So as you can see, we slowed it down just under it, and we've been bouncing. So again, so if we were breaking through, there would be a higher chance that we go higher. But as you can see, the prices, they're kind of bouncing off it and they don't go higher. So, and also we can see the moving average also. So we might pull back and again we'll go to the previous level. So it's about 3,900. That's what I personally believe. Okay, so we might see the price or even lower. Okay, we might make another roll, and as you can see, indicators again, they're in overbought situation, so quite likely we might go down. Now, if we look at Nasdaq on a downtrend, we can see we just went through this level around 1,200. 1,300, sorry. So we just broke through, and we're higher than that. But again, we're at the trend line of the downtrend. So very possible that we can pull back. Again, all indicators in oversold situation. Okay, on overbought situation. Sorry, and so quite likely that we see the sell-off here at the moment. So why it is important to know? So if you have some shares right now and you don't want to sell, this is the time where you sell covered calls. So when the market goes down, and if your share, particularly if you analyze it technically, it's also at resistance. So very often this is a good time to sell covered calls, at least to collect some premium. Even though if you bought the shares like at the higher levels, okay, and you don't want them to be called, but still you want to collect some premium, this is the safest time when you can do that. And also try to sell it out the money. So in this case, even if we are wrong and market continues to go up, so it might not break through, first of all, but even if it breaks through, it might pull back and you will be able to buy the same stock at a cheaper price, like even if you're called out. And if you decide to sell call in the money, so try to identify the level where it can go and put the buyback order for that, close the position with a profit. So in this particular case, you might collect higher level of premium and then buy it back and exit of this covered call situation. And also another thing, if you try to sell it not for 1 month, try to sell it for 1 week or maximum 2 weeks. Now, if we look at volatility index, we can see that it's at the support level of the uptrend. And I wouldn't say even an uptrend because it's like forming a triangle, because you see the highest points of each roll, it becomes lower, lower, and lower, whereas the lowest points of each roll, they become higher and higher and higher, right? So this is the situation. So we kind of narrowing the triangle in this particular case. So pay attention to this level, okay? And it gives us the idea that people are still kind of very emotional, like fearful, because the level of VIX is higher than it was last year. We can see that it was like 15, then it became 16.5, then 18.5, and now it's nearly 22. Okay, I mean the lowest point, so it's growing. But at the same time, investors are not that scared, because previously it was close to 40, then 37, then 35, and then 34. Okay, so we will see maybe next time it's going to be about 32. So the volatility of emotions is less in the market. Okay, this is PE ratio for indexes, and we can see that Dow Jones Industrial Average currently 19. Last year it was 23. Nasdaq is 26. Last year it was 36. And Standard & Poor's is 22. Last year it was 31. So if compared to previous year, we, like all indexes, are priced lower right now. So people pay less money for the same earnings, but earnings actually grew during that time for a lot of businesses. And as a result, like we can see, the dividend yield is high as well for each particular index as well. So if you compare them last year and previous years, so it's kind of a good thing, right, for us. Now, even though the prices are lower, so companies included in this index making more money. So it's actually a good thing for us as investors. So, and even though your portfolio might be lower right now than it was previous year, so it gives you certain confidence in the fact that it's going to go up. And I don't know, guys, if you paid attention to earnings report of Berkshire Hathaway, the Warren Buffett, he compared two numbers. One number was operational profit of the companies included in their holding in Berkshire, right? So whatever they own, how much money they made. And it was a pretty good profit, I think $9 billion during that quarter. And actually it was better than previous quarter, the quarter of previous year. But at the same time, the price of their stock was lower than previous quarter in the last year quarter. And so he compared two numbers. So what they're going to get if they try to sell those companies, they're going to be in loss. Or if they keep holding these companies, they're going to get operational profit from this business. And he reminded his investors again that, look, we're in a long-term game, and so don't worry about temporary setback.